What's up everybody, I am Daniel, this is DTV. Welcome back to the channel. I feel like I haven't made a video in this room in forever, and that's just because I've been very busy because it is fall in Germany. This is my favorite time of year, favorite season. There's a lot of trees out here in Bavaria. And so all the different trees are turning colors, and it's the last time that you can actually get out into nature while the weather is still semi-warm. So this is my favorite time of year. I want to go over, and forgive me, I'm going to be looking up and down at my notes here just to reference and make sure that I keep my bearings. But I want to go over all the different things to do in the fall season if you're PCSing over here during the fall, or if you're already here during the fall and trying to figure out what to do during this time. So we're going to go over what to do during this time, where to go, what to eat, and etc., etc. So let's get into it. Okay, as I stated already, most beautiful time of year in my opinion over here. It rains a lot in Germany, but when it is not raining in Germany, the weather is still warm enough in the fall, September to about early November timeframe, to go outside before it's actually freezing outside for the winter. This is your last opportunity, in my opinion, to take advantage of getting outside in this semi-warm weather with all the biking trails, the walking trails, nature hikes. I was actually out last week taking some footage of the fall season, and I stumbled upon this animal exhibit where they had wild boar. It was like as you're leaving Grafenwoehr and going into the city of Mantel, on the right hand side you'll see a little exhibit of like a family of warthogs. And they're not the prettiest animals out there, but they are very common. You definitely don't want to come across them in the wild, in the woods, because they can be a little dangerous. But yeah, there's like a little family over there, some really fat ones, baby ones over there. And then if you continue down the road on the left-hand side, you'll see another exhibit with like deer and other animals over there. You may also notice that they have hedgehogs here in Bavaria. You'll see those around all the time. They're really friendly and they're really cute. But I would not feed any of these animals or touch these animals, just to be on the safe side. So these are just some of the things that are fun to kind of explore and check out and discover as you're kind of walking through nature and taking advantage of being outside in this fall weather. So that was pretty cool. Okay, Halloween. Halloween is not really a thing in Germany like it is in the United States. The Germans aren't as committed as we are here in Germany. However, they do participate. The Germans actually save their Halloween for Fasching, which is a dress-up Mardi Gras type festival before the beginning of Christian Lent, and that's at the end of February, beginning of March timeframe. So they do celebrate Halloween, but it's just not as crazy and as committed as the Americans do it. So you can trick or treat off base, you can trick or treat on base. They'll definitely be trick or treating on base, so you can do that with your kids. Off base, it's not going to be as common. You may get a handful of visitors at your house, and when they come to your home, instead of saying trick or treat, they're actually going to say süß or sour, which actually means sweet or sour. So a little bit different, but you may get a handful of trick-or-treaters, so just be aware of that. Speaking of Halloween, pumpkins. So you can get pumpkins and Halloween decor on base, but don't expect to find too much Halloween decor off base, because again, it's not really a big thing out here. If you go early enough in September, October, and I want to highly emphasize you need to go early in September, October, you can find Jerry's Pumpkin Patch, which is right across the street from Netzberg and the Netzberg little community over there and the school. You can find multicolored pumpkins there. You can get haystacks there and other small food and drinks for sale. The commissary also has pumpkins that you can get. Again, go early so you don't miss out on any of that, because people will be buying that up. And I found after living in Germany for a while in this area that there are other random locations that sell pumpkins, but they're not like a brick and mortar area like a building where they actually sell these pumpkins. Sometimes they're like right before you get onto the highway, and these locations are changing all the time, so I can't really give you a specific location of where that happens, but I have seen that they sell pumpkins randomly around this area as well. Okay, festival. So obviously September, Oktoberfest. I'm not going to go into all of Oktoberfest because I have already done a how-to Oktoberfest in Munich tutorial. Since Oktoberfest was actually canceled this year due to COVID, I actually hosted 2 Oktoberfest events in Grafenwoehr and Vilseck. We had a ton of fun. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves at that event. We had about 300 plus people, including an appearance from the garrison commander and his family, as well as other local leadership. There were local sponsors there, local Bavarian food and drink. We had a champagne bar. We had a candy truck there, a live band, games, a ton of raffle prize giveaways and stuff. So, I mean, we had a ton of fun on that. I highly recommend to subscribe or follow DTV because we are going to continue these events. It's kind of like phase 2 of DTV and what I'm trying to do here within the local community. So we will be having events. I want to try to do them every other month. So again, subscribe or follow on the Facebook page to hear more information about that, because we will be planning more of those. Okay, since Oktoberfest was actually canceled, the normal Oktoberfest that you would see at the fairgrounds that millions of people come to from all over the world, that was canceled this year because of COVID. So we found an alternative Oktoberfest that I have to tell you about. So we went to the Löwenbräukeller Oktoberfest in Munich, and this was absolutely amazing. So this place is a historic beer hall and one of the oldest, most traditional Bavarian breweries in Germany. So normally that you can just go and have events there. You can go there and just kind of have beers and check out the brewery. They decided to have an actual Oktoberfest event there at the Löwenbräukeller, which is kind of like a private event. And I think this is a new thing that they're doing, and I hope they continue this. I actually think they are going to start continuing this because it was so successful. So let me tell you why I liked this a lot better than the traditional Oktoberfest at the fairgrounds. First of all, this is all indoors, brick and mortar building. You can go outside if you need some fresh air, you want to smoke or whatever you want to do outside. You can do that on the balcony out there, but this is all indoors. It felt more organized. There was a lot more walking space. If you've been to the normal Oktoberfest fairgrounds, you know that it can get really crowded and chaotic, and there's not a lot of space for you to walk or any of that stuff. So I felt like there was plenty of space to walk. The actual hall where the event center happens, it was absolutely huge. So you had a ton of space. Speaking of space though, I would actually recommend to reserve more than one table so that you can have more space at your table. That's the only thing that I felt a little crammed in, is that we had quite a few people at our table, and so we didn't have enough space, man space, if you will, with your arms. So that was the only thing that was kind of the negative about it. But other than that, in terms of just walking around and getting from place to place, it was not crowded at all. Ton of space there. Let's see, what else? There's only a certain amount of people that can actually get in. So unlike the fairgrounds at Oktoberfest, where it is just packed with people, there's only a certain amount of people that have an actual ticket that can get in. So it felt very controlled in terms of the amount of people that were in there. You never felt like what's the word I'm looking for? Claustrophobic. Okay, there's more bathrooms. This is huge for guys and especially the girls. There's more bathrooms for you to go to the bathroom. There's no lines at all. I never stood in line for anything. This is especially a good takeaway for the women, because when you go to the normal Oktoberfest and the fairgrounds, the bathrooms are ridiculous for the girls. I mean, there's always a line, and I know it's one of the biggest complaints that girls have when going to the bathrooms. Also, the bathrooms were clean. That's something that you don't really think about when you go to Oktoberfest, but you want a clean bathroom when when you got to do your business, and the bathrooms were very clean. Oh, pre-ordered food and drink. So you don't ever have to order any more. I mean, you could order more food if you want to, but you don't ever have to worry about food because your food is just going to come to you. We'll get to all the food here in a second. But yeah, you have pre-ordered food and drink. The food is actually way better than the normal Oktoberfest, in my opinion. I felt comfortable. I felt safe inside there. Again, there's no chaos. There's not a ton of drunk, sloppy people walking around everywhere. I mean, this was a very professional, nice Oktoberfest event. Let's see, for 77 euro, we paid 77 euro per person. You get 2 liters of beer. You get a very tasty 3-course meal. Very tasty 3-course meal. Reserved table and seat, your own waitress. And I thought that money was sufficient for all of the things that you get at this new Oktoberfest that we found. So I think from now on, this will be our go-to spot for Oktoberfest during this fall season. And if you want to make that your go-to spot for Oktoberfest as well, you just need to call or email them to make reservations. So definitely check that out. Again, the Löwenbräukeller Oktoberfest. I will leave a link in the description. Amazing. Okay, the other big festival going on during this season is the Ludwigsburg Pumpkin Festival. Now, I've already done a whole video on the Ludwigsburg on this pumpkin festival. I've already done a tutorial on that. You can find that there. But this is the largest one in the world, and I actually went to that pumpkin festival again 2 weeks ago with my father-in-law just to go show him that. So I want to talk about that again really quick because it's obviously something fun to do during this season. So you can get there by car, you can get there by train. The train actually takes you right there into Ludwigsburg, and it's about a 20-minute walk from train. We actually decided to drive. If you drive, then you got to worry about parking. So a couple recommendations on parking. There are parking spots around there on the street. There's parking lots that you can pay for that are right there around the pumpkin grounds or the castle there, if you will. However, I would recommend going there during the week if you can, because then there's not going to be a lot of people there. Or on the weekends, if you go, you need to go early. If you don't go early, you're really gonna have a hard time trying to park. Simple as that. Like, it's gonna be tough to park if you don't get there early. Oh, another tip, as you're getting there, if you get there by car, watch out for the speed traps. They have so many speed traps there in Stuttgart. As you drive into Stuttgart and you go to Ludwigsburg, you're gonna see street traps. What are speed traps? Did I say street traps? No COVID test is required going into this pumpkin festival. We paid 10 euro for adults and it's 4.80 for kids, but that does not include going into the actual palace, the Ludwigsburg Palace that's in there. I think that you have to pay separate, and as you walk into the pumpkin festival, you'll see the entrance to the palace and you can talk about prices and getting in there. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff to do there. It's themed every single year, so they had this year's theme was underwater, so they had a lot of pumpkins in the shape of a fish or a whale or a shark. I think SpongeBob SquarePants was there as well. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. The food is really, really good as well there. I highly recommend to get the pumpkin champagne, but we'll talk about food and drink in a second. Food. So obviously you want to get pumpkin stuff during this fall season. There is pumpkin flavored food everywhere in the stores during this season, including pumpkin champagne, pumpkin chutney, pumpkin puree, pumpkin pizza. We'll get into that in a sec. You can also find pumpkin things in the commissary, but they will sell out very, very quickly. I actually recommend getting your pumpkin stuff now instead of November, because obviously everyone's going to be getting stuff at the commissary for Thanksgiving, so maybe try to get that stuff a little early. Food recommendation. So you'll notice during the fall season, a lot of these restaurants out here, local restaurants off base, are going to have a lot of pumpkin flavored themed food, right? So one of my favorite restaurants, Pomodorino, here in Weiden, Germany, they have this Zucca pizza that is a pumpkin puree pizza with gorgonzola and sausage, and we always get extra sausage because the sausage is amazing, but very pumpkin themed, actually they have this all year round, I believe, but you definitely want to try this out, especially for the fall season. Very, very good. It'll change your life. They also have this pumpkin tortellini or ravioli type dish. So it's a pumpkin pasta with bacon on top. And you know, Americans, we love our bacon. So put bacon on top of any type of pasta, and it is also a life-changing experience. So I would highly recommend, if you're in the area, go to Weiden, go make a reservation for Pomodorino. They also deliver, but only in that local area of Weiden. But make a reservation and go have the pumpkin dishes on their menu right now in the fall. Very, very good. Okay, lastly, let's talk about a little bit of travel during the fall season. So again, I will reiterate that this is a great time to travel to see all of the beautiful trees around Bavaria. My recommendation is to get into nature and go to the trees, go to the mountains, go see these leaves and all the different colors. I'm gonna leave you links to my Birch's Garden, Garmisch, Edelweiss Lodge and Resort vlogs. Those are some great places to go if you want to get into nature, get away from the local area a little bit, and check out the season. Also, castles. Castles give you the best views from really high above of the fall season. There's over 20 within an hour from Grafenwoehr Vilseck. I literally went to every single castle, so I have a vlog about that. I'll leave that in the description as well. And then lastly, I'll provide you a link to the top 10 travel destinations outside of Grafenwoehr and Vilseck. These are your most popular, most common travel locations that people go to when they PCS over here. But again, another great thing to do during the fall season. So that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed all that information. I hope it was valuable to you. But yeah, get out there, have fun, and I will see you in the winter. Peace.